Come that listening, enjoy the show. Come that listening to Sandra TV. We the best in time. Turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up to Sandra TV. Turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up to Sandra TV. Veronica the boss for Sandra TV. She here to give you the best. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Central TV.
I love
Central TV is here. We here to inform you, listen and be inspired. Central TV is here. We the best now in time. Oh, listen and be inspired. Turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up to Central TV. Turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up to Central TV. Veronica the boss for Central TV. She here to give you the best. Come and listen everybody to Central TV. We here to give.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Leon Twazama, and I want to welcome all of you to Sandra TV, now Sandra Network, as we dive into our PrimeTime Friday discussion. Today, we will be joined in studio by D. Dipper and Fender, who started as one of our panelists, but for some technological reasons, he was he was not able to be part of us. But he's back now. We will look at the we'll look at issues in Liberia as it's affecting the young people. We'll look at the current happenings of Liberia's youthful landscape. We'll look at cyberbullying as it relates to social media. What are some things that we ought to put in place to stop cyberbullying? We'll look at Liberia progress without youth representation. We'll look at that. And I think it's time that we have some conversations about our culture and our society. So all of those things will be discussed here on Sandra TV on today. My name is Leon Twazama, and I will be captaining the ship as we dive in this conversation. So we're going to take our musical break, and then we'll be right back as we bring our panelists on the show.
Give you the best. Come that listening, enjoy the show. Come that listening to Sandra TV. We the best in time. Turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up to Sandra TV. Turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up to Sandra TV. Veronica the boss for Sandra TV. She here to give you the best. Ladies.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. We want to take this time to welcome all of you again back to Sandra Network as we dive in the conversations that are happening now in Liberia, things that we think or things that we expect to happen. Again, I am joined by one of Liberia's young minds, one of Liberia's uh, energetic, diplomatic, whom together we started this segment, but for some reasons, because of technology and all of the great stuff, he was not able to be with us for a couple of time. But we are glad that he's back. We are glad that he's back. We know what he can do when it comes to discussing issues in Liberia. So, come and Finda, how you doing today, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing great, Leon. Thank you. once again for keeping the show running in our absence. We are humbled and honored to be back on this great platform again.
Thank you, Chief. So those of you who are just watching us for the first time, I know you have seen me a lot on your stream on Fridays, but this shift is, we know we are co-pilots on this ship. DDB and Finna also run the show sometimes when I'm not available. So he's not new. So come on, we will dive into our conversations for today. You know, there are several things that we look at out of youthful perspective. But first, before we get into this, I want you. Some people have been following your Facebook page. They've seen you outside of Liberia. So want to throw a little light on what are some things that you did there, and what did you go for, my man? So we can know what happened.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Leon. So, like obviously from the previous show, like I introduced myself, I work with the Ministry of Commerce and Industry in
Mm-hmm.
the Department of Foreign Trade. So, our basic role is to do trade negotiation on behalf of the government of Liberia, work with all international organizations, trade like the WTO, the
Mm-hmm.
AFTA. So my training was basically on the this document adopted by the AU, the African Union, called the Africa Free Continental Trade Area. So this document seek to promote trade among African countries. You know, we dey trade with the West. Most of our trade, is with the West and also Africa. Most of the African countries trade with also Africa. We don't trade among ourselves. So this document seek to promote African trade. So
Mm-hmm.
with that, as trade analysts and as people at the ministry that promote this document and carrying awareness with some of our SMEs and industry in the country, so there's need that we be trained on all of these trade protocols. So we had a first training in Liberia here on the after document as a whole. So this training in Abidjan, it was actually Abidjan for it was intensive 1 week training in Abidjan where we were
Mm-hmm.
taught on the protocol on dispute settlement on the AFTA agreement. So the dispute settlement is one of the trade protocol. They get several other trade protocol that they trade services, trade goods, women and youth in trade. We have been taught in some of the protocol, but the issue of the dispute settlement that training was conducted in Abidjan for the 16 countries in West Africa. So it was for the Western region. So we learned a lot. It was a great experience there in Abidjan.
Awesome, awesome. So again, like you have brilliantly stated. In essence, DTVF, work with the Minister of Commerce. So just in case you have any commercial questions as it relates to what to do when it comes to trading in Liberia, some of the we say the into and out of trading in Liberia. I think DTVF Finda, he's your guy. So right now, Comer, we will dive into conversations because that's always we always work on time because you guys were developed over there. So the first one we want to talk about today, and we want to look out for our viewers to understand as we dive into the conversation is the result of peer pressure. A lot of times young people we overload peer pressure, and then we don't know exactly what to do. So I want to look at peer pressure here, and the question is peer pressure destroying the future of youth, of our youthful sector now in Liberia? For instance, let's look at the drugs abuse and reckless lifestyle. Are these things that correspond to peer pressure? Is this something that we can do as young people to do away from peer pressure? And how can we as youth protect ourselves and protect our future when it comes to the whole issue of peer pressure?
Okay, yes, Leon. So as it relates to like you are saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
The major cause of peer pressure is peer pressure basic influence. One influence on your peers is what we call peer pressure. And
Okay.
peer pressure is the major cause of the high increase of the disadvantaged young people in the society because and it's actually start from high schools in the community. People will say, okay, like they normally tell their peers that, oh, if you don't do certain things, you are drunk, you're not big boy. And because of that influence they have on that person, is actually destroying them, is harmful to the society. But I think there's they reduce it because for the past it used to be very hard, but for me and nowadays I think the level of peer pressure on young people have reduced drastically. The other institution, there are so many serious institutions that have carry on awareness program, drugs awareness if you're high school, and the government institution also carry on that. So peer pressure is that's something that need to be work on as the country, and serious studies they are involved into that.
Yes, and just to buttress on what you said, you see now looking at our society, especially when in the Liberian society and American society, a lot of majority of the time, our youth who are going astray, and I think you stated it rightly. Most of them, were swayed because of peer pressure. And I think you mentioned substance abuse and things like that. These are things that I think if we look into it, if we look into these things, we can help prevent, we can help save lives of many Liberians there who are depending on, doing something meaningful for themselves, doing something, well, and living a very better life. I think that's something that if we can tackle as young people, we'll know for a fact that peer pressure, is something bad, because now people want to fit in the trend. They want to be in a lifestyle, like you said. They want to be in the lifestyle. So yeah. And I think we have to prioritize it. We have to prioritize it, and as it relates to young people. But yeah. But let's talk a little bit, and I want us to spend time on this conversation for a while, as it relates to young people involvement in Liberia. I want to know your opinion when it comes to the involvement of young people in Liberia. And I'm talking about specifically the progress of Liberia. Yeah, can Liberia ever progress without youth involvement? I want to know what you think about that. And when I say youth involvement, I'm looking at youth participation in national development, youth leadership opportunities for young people, and community activism, responsibility. You know, can Liberia progress without youth involvement in the country?
No, I don't think the country can progress without the involvement of young people. Because if you look at the statistics, according to the latest, we had more than 60% of the population is 65+% of the population is young people. So there's no way that we will progress without the involvement of young people in all aspects of society, both national government, civil society, and community initiative. That's why from the beginning of this government, there was a lot of crap that you can have a fix of the young people. That is the Ministry of Youth and Sport being represented by somebody of age who is not among them, who do not understand their language. That's why the president target was to bring somebody of a young person to set that ministry. But on the overall, I don't think the country can move forward without young people involvement, because young people the other people basically as you grow older, the energy you wear it will feel away as you go up. But the young people, obviously somebody from 18 to 35, they have a lot of energy, their brain stays sharp, and their involvement, and those small young people that have been tested and tried, they are proving worthy of the course, and they are been giving national leadership, they have been proving themselves worthy. So I don't think the country can progress with our young people, because most of the now the world is innovative, as we go. Most of the innovative happening in the world are young people out there. Young people coming up with new invention every day. So I think Liberia got to prioritize young people being on the table. We are not there yet with young people being highly represented at level of decision making. But I think at this time we can't always keep saying that young people are the future leader. We are the current leader. We are not the future leaders, because we tend to be provided opportunity or just the opportunity, and we prove ourselves. And I'm proud of some of the young people have been given that space to sit on the policy making table and run the table to make that decision. And they are proving themselves right. So I think that their involvement will play a very key role in the progress of this country.
Absolutely. And a lot of times people say, "Oh, you guys are the future leaders," but what's the future? Because you see people now in their like, late 20s, their early 30s, they be like future leaders. Like, bro, I'm already in my future because at age 30, or if I'm in my 30s, that means that this is my future. Yeah, and create opportunities for people to be for young people to help and excel. Because if you ask me, I would say absolutely young people needs to move this country forward. If we look at the House of Representative, comrade, there are a lot of let's say old heads, right? A lot of wise men, because I don't want to say old. A lot of wise men who are occupying these those positions, whom I think if we give to young people, there can be progress in the nation. If we come from the House of Representatives, I kid you not. If we have young people, at least 50%, in my opinion, it should be 50-50. 50% old people, 50% young people. That way, young people can relate to young people more. Brother, the man is 65 years, 75 years. He going to in his constituents where 85% of his constituents are young people, who are now Gen Z, like we said. So, in my opinion, I don't think so because Liberians cannot or Liberia cannot grow without young people being around. So I think is very imperative that we do away with the idea of, oh, Liberia can do better. No, we are already in the future. Give us the chance to lead. Give us the chance to progress. Is that something that you want to say?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to come into to that again. So I
Yeah.
just remember on Monday, we had another workshop here in Morovia. So the UNDP representative to Liberia,
Hmm.
he opening he had been in Liberia for 3 years, and he said
Yeah.
something very key that I took away. He said all the time being in Liberia, his best engagement is the program he had about a month ago where he brought young people from all sectors of Liberia, and the creative sector and academic sector, they on that table. He said in that room, some of the brightest out there that you might never heard saying being in Liberia, it came from that room with so young people. So as you're speaking, I just remember that. I just remember a statement and
True, because brother, let's look at and let's take the Ministry of Youth and Sport here as a case study. You have a young minister in Councilor Cornelia Crab. Cornelia Crab is surrounded by young brilliant minds. And if we start mentioning them on the show, you got my Ata Mentin, you got what's the other guy name who's been doing extremely
Princess
no
Doma,
well?
Princess,
Prentice
Princess.
Doma. She's surrounded by a lot of these young minds. And because of that, the Ministry of Youth and Sport now is becoming one of, if not the best. I think next to CSA, because CSA is doing extremely well. I think next to CSA, I want to go to Ministry of Youth and Sport. Again, the country is surrounded by a lot of great minds, but just give people the opportunity to exceed, and not just that, because you have seen people that have master's degree, they don't even have the job befitting for them as master's degree holder. Do you know what it is to have master's degree? Let's go outside of Liberia, in America or the Western world, to get master's degree. I mean, you have a very good job. But the people in the country, our leaders, they suppress young people to the extent like all they use us for now is just battle crap. And watch 2029, you see them coming for young people a lot to sing their battle cries. But the moment they get elected, your office staff. I don't know how many it's going to be to even appoint young people on our office. I say, yeah, it's very very hard. So
Some
so
of them feel threatened by young people pressing around them. They feel threatened by smart young people around them. I don't know why would you feel threatened by smart young people.
yeah, because the man is very visionary. You got the man is there, man is there. But let's move on as we just discuss more. We have time on the show. We'll be able to have a conversation. But Comrade, I don't know if you were in Liberia a couple of days ago when a young lady was on her way. I think she was going to red light, and then she was, stripped naked because apparently she wore something short. She wore a very short clothes. I want us to discuss that a lot because for me, one thing I'm passionate about is is the activism of women. I think I think women in our society are not being, and I want to firstly, before I continue, appreciate the Liberia National Police for apprehending those guys who did that. They kind of stripped her naked because apparently she wore short clothes. So, what's your opinion on the entire issue?
I think that was being very much offensive to the young lady. I think that was very much unserious on the part of some of the young people that say he read that, because you do
Hmm.
not dictate how somebody what somebody wear to go in the workplace. You cannot violate somebody's privacy. You cannot, because even I watched the video, even at the point where even the put lapper on the young lady, somebody was still trying to drag it for her. So that was very much unserious on their part, and it's a, but I appreciate the Liberia National Police for the swift action in arresting them.
Hmm.
Especially
Hmm.
the guy that we need to be calling in, at the beginning when I was listening, I said, but what's this? How can young people, because you cannot scare people away from being themselves. People gotta be themselves. You cannot stop people being themselves. And that was not even that short. It was not even that short that is to the point that you say, oh, you bring naked somebody for that. That was very, very serious on the part of these young people. And I appreciate the police for swiftly action. And the PCC got one thing for the right, focus during that training time. There's the guy who took out and who tried to escape the war for safety. Paul Laban, I actually appreciate him a lot. He did well at that moment.
Yes, and he needs to be given his flowers too. So the reason why you are right, comrade, absolutely, that is very disrespectful to not just her but to every woman out there. That is disrespectful to even have the audacity to want to take her clothes off because she quote unquote wore short clothes. You're not buying her clothes in her closet. You're not paying for what clothes she wear. If she wear anything short, what you can do as a human being is to give her something long to put on, right? Because you don't want to see it. I think a couple of years back when I said like, bro, there was this guy I always used to practice for walking around my community. He always had his little saxophone in his hand, microphone, and say something like, "No more wear rooting in the street." I don't know if you ever remember that guy. you know,
Mhm.
it's wrong. It's disrespectful. It's uncalled for. You have to respect the decency of women. You have to respect the fact that women, have morals. So have some shame. Have all I would say is have some shame. You can't be prostrating around the street claiming to be decent by trying to naked a woman. Have some shame. It's very wrong. And that leads us to our next conversation, comedy. I'm glad you mentioned that. Let's talk about cyberbullying a little bit. And cyberbullying in Liberia is is social media, or are the attacks on social media going too far? As in, you've had celebrities here and there in Liberia who use the Facebook to insult, like somebody be here in America, somebody be in Liberia, just like we say in our Liberia vernacular, just causing Marcos. Marcos and Ma. So cyberbullying, yeah, Comrade, do you think it's going too far with the social media? Is Facebook harassment and online shaming? Is it going has it gone too far?
I think some people are using the platform, the essence of Facebook. I think some people are making it go off hand. And but
Hmm.
there are a lot of people that are using the platform for the reason, like we are doing, to have somebody show. But I think other people are actually abusing the platform, because we always be shaming people. Like there's the last incident that happened. There's the girl who attended University of Liberia. So
Hmm.
there's an online blog that posted, and circling the bag she wore, about 10 different occasions she wore that one bag. And I was like, well, it's the girl own money she bought a bag. So everybody not in the same class, everybody do not have the same financial ability. to change bag every day to go to school because and she will actually bully other females, of her, other of some of her friends. I saw sharing it, commenting, and with that, there are other people who do not have strong heart. Other people, some people do not have that. That's something that called depression in society because
Yeah.
you may not be able to stand it. And apart from that incident, there was no incident about a young lady again who posted her own picture. They said the girl was very ugly, and I think trend online about somebody being ugly. What concern you about somebody who say picture they post? And you can't and that it can cause depression because if the person not have strong heart like you or other people who can withstand some of these things, they can
Mm-hmm.
do something all the way. And to the other issue, to the aspect of people using that platform to insult, because some people will be out of the country and they will just go live and they will insult, and people think it'll be fun, but these things are not fun.
No.
Insulting me, insulting moral, insulting female leaders in society. These things are not fun to me. I don't think it'll be comedy is something begin to be laughing thing. No, it's not laughing thing. This thing actually have one way or other influence on the society because everybody, all young people and everybody on Facebook, more people watch it this thing and they will that they waste money use the platform. They also have followers, they also have people believing, and people will take it to be a normal thing in the society. And that bro small we come on your home. Traditionally, we know we learn that you do not insult or you don't insult woman. So we learn that.
Not
So
no.
that's a cultural value is still in us from childhood. So it just baffled me to see other people using their phone to go online and stuff. It actually baffled me a lot.
And I'm glad you mentioned the issue of the young beautiful lady, by the way, beautiful lady that had the that had the bag. I'm glad you mentioned her. And I think that story broke up when this blogger in Liberia called Gary the blogger. So I'm a fan of Gary the blogger, but sometimes I think when he do some things he goes above and beyond. And I want to commend CIC. I think CIC reached out to her, give her a lot of bags. I think pay her semester tuition if I'm not kidding. Bullying is very wrong. Bullying at any level is wrong. In like bro, there's a folk. Working and bullying are two different things. Me out in school, like bro, the folks are like it's two different things. Bullying on the other hand is wrong. And just like you said, some people may not have the same heart as you, may not have the same courage as you, may not have the same zeal as you, and they'll go into depression. They go into doing so many things because they are being bullied. We have seen people take their lives on Facebook. We have seen people going live and they have taken their lives because the internet, like I always say, my love brother, the internet does not forget. Don't forget at all. You'll be surprised that the things that you have posted 10 years ago, Facebook will come and remind you and say your 10-year memory. You'll see yourself, you'll be like, wow. So I think the issue of and that's why sometimes Facebook can go there and just recreate that account. I'll be like, you deserve it. Because what ounce of respect do you have to sit down by yourself and open your Facebook and just decide to just be disrespectful to everybody? On every level. Forgetting that children be using the social media. You just open your mouth, you just like we say in library, you just be lurching you because without any moral, without any ounce of respect. So if you ask me, I would say it's very wrong. It's not we don't encourage it. Do not condone any form of that. So it's very important that these things be removed, that these things be given real level of seriousness, and that the minute a library needs to look into it. But very very lastly, before we bring the show to an end and take our final points and our final comments, and one thing I want us to look at is culture, right? The culture and society in Liberia. And I want to post a question. Are many of our young Liberians today losing respect for the culture and tradition? Are they allowing the Western influence to take in Liberian youth? Our respect for elderly figures in the community going away. Social media supporting our young people to the respect to the point that they don't give respect to their elders. What do you think about that, Comer?
Yeah, yeah. I think to some extent, we are losing cultural values. Most especially with the issue of using the social media to insult other people, to insult women, online. But
Hmm.
it, it's not just the West that influence
So we lost Comer D because of technical difficulty, and I see that he's back. Yeah, can you hear me,
yeah.
Comer? Yeah,
So
yeah.
sorry for
Go
breaking.
ahead.
So
Yeah, that's fine. Go
like
ahead.
I was saying, it's
Hmm.
it's not just the West that we are following with their
Hmm.
culture, but even our neighboring country here in West Africa. So I watched a video where this Liberian girl, I know a celebrity or content creator, calling the pepper color, what we call pepper color. She was calling
Hmm.
it puff puff. You know the Nigerians can call color puff puff, and I was like, this is pepper cara. Why you call pop pop? We are not Nigerians to say this is pop pop. You know, I'm really baffled by that. So I think we are losing only a bit. You know, even some of our tie we wear, the clothes we wear. Most of our African clothes we wear is either Nigerian or the Ghanaian kind of lapa and style that we would prefer. So we are losing onto that. Our country clothes where our brothers can face with their hand. You know, in the most of these women, these people into the business. So the country
Hmm.
clothes where that kind of country shirt. That's Liberia traditional clothes. But you will find out we wearing most of these suits from Nigeria, most of the lapas design from Ghana. We are actually losing onto that a bit. Yeah, with our cultural
Not,
heritage. Seriously.
not just that. You go to a Liberian wedding in America or in Liberia, you see everybody dressing like Nigerian. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what's there to represent your culture? You out there doing the abada, you wearing it, like what is happening? So I think our people are going away from the culture. The culture needs to be taught. And one thing I could say too, like in that aspect of comedy is in high school, I think they don't really teach the Liberian culture there. All they do is Liberian history. They do 1847, Pierre Boto, Susanna Louis. But you need to teach the cultural. I think so we are from Nimba. What we do in Nimba is different from what happened in Grand Bassa. What happened
Yes,
in
sir.
Lofa? What happened in Sino? What happened in Bon County, in Buffalo, right? But because these things they're not being taught in our local high schools, our kids don't care. They want to
Sure.
learn about the Nigerian culture. You remember one time I was watching a Liberian movie. I saw the man speaking pidgin. I'm like, what are you doing? Like what is happening? So in other words, we have to promote our culture. We go to I used to watch the when I brought had Southcom. So we used to watch I have Southcom a lot. We have even DSTV in Liberia. We need to promote the Liberian culture, Liberian festivals, like the National County Sport Meet. I feel like these things should be shown on DSTV. These things
Yeah.
should be shown on Southcom. But how many news outlets in Liberia that will live stream you the National County Sport Meet? How many live events will go and gather the happenings of what is Pamboro used for? What was it originated?
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised. People from different country will come like eat Pamboro, be very happy. Eat kasali,
And
eat
you
GB,
know,
eat fufu.
yeah. To the food and Cayman there's only great recently the Grand Cayman County they organized this program called the Basajama Festival in
Hmm.
Grand Cayman. It was a whole week long activities and it's the first in Labrador to have a whole because at the more food the Basajama they rest with the kisao leaf with the red
Hmm.
oil. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a rest. came and put in cook dry rice with kisali and red or they call it
Mhm.
basa jama. So they had a whole festival for that in Grand Cayman, and I admire it a lot because we are actually losing out on some of the activity. So the national festival, we should be having Domo Festival, for example, GB Festival, for example, the
GB
invasion from Bottle.
Festival. Yeah. These so these are things that the Ministry of Culture and Tourism needs to look into. It's not about the ministry. It's not about being appointed. You have to look down deep. Is Liberia's doing what we're supposed to do? We have quote unquote culture ambassador. What are they doing? What are they doing? Our culture ambassadors, what are they doing? They I think we need to go back and look at the Ministry of Culture and Tourism to promote the culture. Man, Liberia is the first independent country in entire Africa. That's historical.
Yeah,
I was told I was looking at the University of Liberia is one of the prestigious universities in entire Africa. People used to leave from Nigeria and go to Liberia and go to school.
yeah.
But now look
Former
at it.
Nigerian president graduated from UL. Former Nigerian president, I just forget the name, but one of the Nigerian president graduated from University of Liberia.
Yeah, but look at that. These things are historical. But what is the Ministry
Yeah.
of Culture and Tourism doing about these things? Go
So,
to
but what it
to
did,
Permanent Baptist Church.
yeah.
No. Go ahead.
So I was saying, what they did in recent time, the government did in recent time, they used to have the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism. So,
Hmm.
but it took us tourism and the cultural affair from on information now. So they get a national tourism authority. So all that responsibility of the cultural and and tourism aspect of the country, they are separate authority that they focus it squarely on that. They the visual information focus on only information for the country for now.
And I think that's good. That's that's
Mhm.
that's the first step. That's the first step because I guarantee you, for Liberia to be over 170 something years old, it's historical. It's historical on its own. Start seeing. We fought over 27 years, bro. We got the Provident Baptist Church there around here. Historical sites, the Bourgeois Islands. The First Baptist Church. These are places that need to be visited and developed. So we have exhausted our topics for today, and I will take some parting comments from you. But beginning next Friday, they will try to bring in the. So if you're watching us, the current police spokesman, Mr. Sam Collins, will be appearing on our Friday's episodes to provide updates from the LMP aspect. He's not here today because we have not started, but yes. So David, we'll take some closing remarks from you, and then we'll bring the show to an end.
Yeah, so Tony was great. Some of the topics we discussed are actually topic focuses on the development of our nation, and going forward, I think the show will be more better. We'll try to bring more guests on the show, like you said, mention or same qualities. I will start to engage other people too down here that we, see our best that we can bring other payment people in society, other people in other aspect of government, civil society, to share their view on some of the issues that we can discuss. So tonight was great. Like I said, I'm back fully online and I was facing some late challenge for about a month, but I'm fully back and we active on the show moving forward.
Welcome back. Welcome back. It's good to have you. It's good to have you. So if you don't know, Comedy and I, we are the one that have been taxed, to coordinate the UFO segment of Samdra Network, and we are here now. Want to say thank you for watching us. A lot of our viewers far and away. If you are interested in making any comments or appearing on our Friday segment and you're in Liberia, can I get to me? You get a comedy. He's on Facebook. He's on WhatsApp. He will coordinate the bringing you on the show. He'll be doing that from Liberia, like he said. We'll try to bring some permanent figures here in Liberia and here and there. So for me, I want to say thank you for watching us, and we remain an unbiased conversations. Nothing here is biased. We are unbiased, and I mean, comedy real quick before you go. I mean, what news from from the 10th district in Maserati, my man. Who are the preliminary aspirant so far?
So from the corridor of the political space, we are hearing few names. Like I supported somebody the last signed the election, and he still contesting with all go wells Honorable Sekwi, the operation manager at Labrador at LPRC. So
Okay.
and we are also saying that the youth chair for the United Party youth wing Mervyn Sivos, he also have interest into that process. And because my thing is with the Rescue Alliance side, I'm focusing on that side, but I'm not saying that Moroba Bolu, the stand, the Afro who left, who's one chairman.
I,
Yeah. Um,
I was just about to say, man. I was just about to say.
yeah, Moroba Bolu is showing he winning the race. And also Giuseppe De who came second year quarterback, she also want to come back. Because after election went, I think she went for steady, she stay out of the country, but she's coming back down to contest, and after the quarterback case with the court, once they conclude, we'll be going to the election.
So here at Sana TV, we will keep you guys posted to know what is happening. But again, we just want to sum it up. We have talked about peer pressure. We want to encourage all of you to stop bullying people. It is not good. It's a no. Do not bully anybody on social media. It is wrong because of what it is. And if you're a young person growing up, coming up, in our Liberian culture and our Liberian setting, we do respect our eldest figures. So if the culture is going away from you, you want to come back, you want to come back home, humble yourself, behave yourself, and learn from get some parental advice. So that is it from us here at Sandra TV. I'm Leon Tuazama, hosted the show today, and I was assisted by DJ and Finder. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next Friday.
Gentlemen, it is
Nico,
time for the Central TV.
I love
Central TV is here.